Hello everyone and welcome to another high-elo game of Age of Empires. Today we saw the trailer for the new Gladiator 2 movie and it looks pretty damn good. But until we wait for it to come out, we're going to be just sitting down to watch Mr. Yo playing as the Mayans in blue take on Daniel playing as the Hindustanis in red. Now all the players heard their herdables explore their immediate surroundings and try to get their butts up to Castle Age because we are back in Empire Wars mode today. And we're back on Karsts, a map that I think the pro players have fallen in love with given how much gold and how much stone and how many resources it generally has. Not a bad time for us to take a look at the Civ matchup that we are going to be watching today as the players are already beginning to tear into one another. This Eagle Scout pokes and then gets poked. Speaking of the Eagle Scout, let's take a look at the Mayans, a civilization, an archer civilization, whose progressively cheaper foot archers mean players can mass lots and lots of their unique unit, the Plumed Archer. This is the fastest foot archer in the game, comes with a small attack bonus against infantry. Now to support their Plumed Archers, the Mayans can upgrade their skirmishers to throw a second projectile, and their Eagle Warriors to get 40 extra HP, or perhaps, if you prefer to stay safe and secure behind the safety of walls. Ooh, first skill of the game going to Daniel here as he takes down that scout. Monsieur, though, moving out. As I mentioned, let's take a look at Monsieur. I'm assuming has already begun walling off his base. If you prefer to stay safe and secure behind your walls, Mayan walls and gates are all 50% cheaper. Now, economically, the Mayans do start the game with an extra villager, but 50 less food, and their resources do last 15% longer than normal. Two ships passing in the night. Let's take a look at the Hindustani army, a civilization that pushes its players towards a mixture of gunpowder and camel units. Their hand cannoneers are tankier and can be upgraded to get extra range. Their camels attack faster and can be upgraded into Imperial camels, which are stronger versions of the already cool heavy camel riders. Oh, and by the way, if your opponent attacks you with ranged units, which may actually happen here, a second kill going to our Hindustani, although it looks like Mr. Yo has managed to get a kill. As I mentioned, if your opponent is perhaps an archer civilization like the Mayans, as we may see here today, we may see some archers who's kidding who. Well, the Hindustanis can turn to their second unique unit, the Ghulam. This is a high pierce armor unit with an attack bonus against archers that will shred through them, especially if they stay clumped, because Ghulams actually injure multiple units at once. Now, in order to afford their powerful but resource-heavy army, the Hindustani villagers, where are you? Let's take a look at those villagers. Get progressively cheaper as the game goes on, and the Hindustanis can upgrade their entire economy, not only to increase the speed of all gold income, but to also lower their commodity trading fee to be the second lowest in the game after the venerable 5% Saracen commodity trading fee. And those are the two civilizations we've got before us today. Very cool. I think the name of the game here for Mr. Yo, who I always love watching as the Mayans, is to deny the stone, because if you're going to go archers, well, then the Ghulam is going to come out. If you're going to go Eagle Warriors, well, then those hand cannoneers with Chattagny 9 range are going to come out. So Mr. Yo is going to have to put on a little bit of aggression, which luckily for us, Mr. Yo is no stranger to. What are you? Still 2 scouts? Let's see how much of each other's bases they've seen. Just the forward portion of the Mayan base. And our Mayan has seen the forward and the flank. Probably assumes that this forest goes all the way to the edge of the map. Not too wrong. Skirmishers returning home. Is there a villager being sent out here? Or maybe they're not returning home. Maybe it's just for this one skirmisher to leave the homestead. Looks like a secondary wall off going up here for Daniel, who does not want to deal with any kind of archers. Remember, right now, the Mayan foot archer is 10% cheaper than normal. And in a minute 44 seconds, when Mr. Yo hits the Castle Age, they will then be 20% cheaper. Does not apply to their skirmishers, but it does apply to their foot archers and their plumes. Is there a nickname for plumed archers? Plumies? Sounds a little dirty. Sounds a little half childish, half dirty. We'll call them plumed archers. I think we're okay with that. Looks like Mr. Yo is going to beat out his opponent by about 2 seconds. Although looking at the TC idle time, it tells me that perhaps one player has loom and the other does not. Or maybe I'm completely making things up, because we are in Empire Wars and all players start with loom in any event. Mr. Yo, with about 23 seconds of TC idle time. Let's see how much he can get done here. He does technically get countered by skirmishers, this army, all the composition of the army, both the archers and the skirmishers, but he's got the numbers here. And so guns down those 5-6 skirmishers that moved out to attack him, but he lost a few of those gold intensive archer units, which even at a 10% discount are still somewhat gold intensive for the Feudal Age. A couple of scouts do get taken out here in front of the Mayan base, and now he is free to aggress against Daniel all the live long day. Daniel, by the way, getting economic upgrades, gold mining and stone mining, while Mysterio is focusing on Bodkin. I really do hope we get to see plumed archers, he says, right as a castle gets plopped down and a monastery as well. But for now, all of the aggression is firmly on Daniel's side of the map. I'm surprised Mysterio has not really explored the nether regions of the base, seeing as how there's literally one palisade, a house, and maybe palisades here as well. Although there are some nearby villagers who would make walling that off pretty easy for our Hindustani, who now plops out a scorpion, and that is all she wrote for this Feudal Age army. Maybe if they were crossbows, they would stick around a little bit longer. Spearmen for sure. Okay, now they're on exploration duty. So if you can't use them to attack, use them to explore. If you can't use them to explore, well, send them back to die. Send them back to attack. Mysterio finds a relic. Good scouting out of him. Who is Daniel? Speaking of scouting, discovers now that there's a castle here in probably the worst way possible to discover that there's a castle, by losing a unit. And look at this, Mysterio's in the 12 o'clock position, Mysterio's in the 4 o'clock position, Mysterio's in the 8 o'clock position. He is literally triple teaming this base right now, attacking into a stable, attacking into a house, and for a second was attacking, I'm assuming, one of these palisades, right up until the scorpions shoot him away. Kill count firmly 10-6, although neither player has managed to kill any villagers of their opponents. So while Mysterio tries to bust into here with some ridiculously weak units, not a bad time for us to take a look at the map, because as I mentioned, we're back on Karsts, a map that comes with more than twice the normal amount of stone, more than twice the amount of normal gold as Arabia, a good amount of food, but not that much wood. So luckily for Mysterio, that discount right now, 20%, if he gets up to Imperial 30%, is going to help out a lot. And plumed archers are out. They see the castle going up. They need to deny this for as long as possible. Get a nice little death ball of plumed archers. Look at the army count, 20-3. Mysterio does not want to deal with late game Hindustani army. He wants to put on so much aggression now that it's not even an option for our Hindustani to lash out. Although, to be fair, with even just one scorpion, might want to add 1 or 2 more. He does have 2 more. Maybe they're down south protecting against I don't know what. Those basic archers, which are, where are they now? Where are those basic 5 archers that were here before? Oh, they're all the way down here, protecting this relic, guarding against that wolf. Scorpion does manage to finally get a kill, but Mysterio is starting to gather relics. He's going to get the one to the right of, bottom right of Daniel's base. The plumed archers with their mobility are super cool. Now, if Daniel does go Gulams, which I'm really hoping he does, because you rarely see Gulams, I'm curious to see how the plumed archer shapes up, because we've seen the plumed archers take on Huskarls, and they absolutely wreck them. Right now, they have a +1 attack bonus against infantry. Once they're elite, if they're elite, they'll go up to +2, and they can shred through Huskarls because they can move ridiculously fast. The plumed archer, like I said, fastest foot archer in the game. The problem for Mysterio is that if Gulams start coming out, they're not exactly as slow as a Huskarl. They're pretty damn fast. I believe almost as, if not faster than a Karambit warrior, which is a 1.3, low 1.3s, 1.32 or 1.33. So I'm very curious to see the plumed archers taking on Gulams, although that is neither here nor there. No units being trained out of this castle just yet. Daniel doing nothing but booming at the moment. 4 town centers inside of this little nook, and on Karsts, you can afford to do that because these Karsts, these rock formations all over the map, come with a lot of resources all around. 4,250 resources around that just one particular Karst. This this chase of scouts, that sounds kind of like a Game of Thrones style. The chase of scouts in the bottom of the map continues here. House will or will not fall, doesn't really matter. There's already a backup wall and a scorpion here. It managed to already get 5 kills, maybe a 6th once this guy takes a bolt to the face. Forward position now all of a sudden has been opened up. The Scorpions are converging on the front here. And Daniel, I was about to say, had 716 stone or such. And now a second castle going up for him. This has to be for Ghulams, right? Hindustanis don't just go 2 castles for no reason, especially not 2 castles like this that kind of but not really secure resources. There's that first Ghulam right as he starts heading up to Imperial. Plumed archers versus scorpions are a little lackluster. The plumed archers' main selling point is twofold: the speed, 1.2 tiles per second, and the HP of 50 right now. Climbs up a bit once they go elite, but its attack is a basic 5, and I don't think that improves at all once they go elite. I think it stays at a 5. Mr. Yo is banking good amount of resources, buys and sells at that market, and is now also heading up to Imperial Age, about a minute and a half behind his opponent. So not the end of the world, especially since Daniel's gonna have to deal with his castle first and possibly a middle of the road siege workshop. 7 Ghulams. They are streaming forward. Was I right about movement speed? No, I wasn't. Oh, wait a second. No, he doesn't have squires yet. Okay. Squires for our Mayan. Squires for our Mayan? The words came out of my mouth and then hit my brain. Okay, he's got 1 barracks. I think Ghulams come with an attack bonus against eagles. Literally everything comes with it. Every infantry almost comes with an attack bonus against eagles. Yeah, +2. Okay. So let's see it. Our Mayan has busted into the southern portion of this settlement. Town center has already been lamed by the castle. Ghulams are in. They get a monk, but not before he converts a fellow Ghulam. And now, little baby Karst is in the way of this wall off, and 3 Ghulams are in. It used to be 4. Where are the other ones? There's a couple more hanging out here. So, Daniel's in Imperial again, roiding up his economy. Gold shaft mining, also getting forging for those Ghulams. Had a nice +1 attack. Town center is almost fully garrisoned. Monsieur, of course he manages to find the healthiest, the highest HP Ghulam and convert that one. Or I guess at least attempt to convert that one, and he gets it. These 2 Ghulams still kind of hanging out, doing not much in the center of the map. Mangonel's going to try to close on the Scorpions. Scorpions are going to try to close on the Plumes. Monks should probably be healing this. Monsieur preferring mobility at the moment to just, you know, leaving them alone for a minute and letting them get healed. Eagles is the next transition for our Mayan. I don't know about Eagles. Both players are in Imperial Age. Archers are now 30% off. And again, plumed archers do come with an attack bonus against infantry, and Ghulams are not exactly the tankiest of infantry units. But I am glad that we're getting to see them. You don't see them very often. Just because the Hindustanis have such powerful units at their disposal. Hand cannoneers, Imperial camels. I mean, even Hussars. Who's kidding who? So, Trebs do gun down Mysterio's castle. But to be fair, for 650 stone, mission kind of accomplished. He's delayed his opponent from getting any real kind of damage done. Daniel does have 5 villager kills, but Mysterio's got 3. Daniel has 30 kills, but Mysterio has 17. Now 18 to 31. So Daniel's poked and prodded a little bit here and there. Mr. Yo is down 30 villagers, and he's getting El Dorado. So we are going to see a massive eagle transition here. I'm hoping 7 barracks. Not exactly Gothic perfusion barracks, but the Treb sees all of it, as did the Ghulams, and here come the Eagles. No attack upgrades whatsoever. Why are the Plumes not firing? They do not have ballistics. Now, the Ghulam doesn't have exactly the same level of pierce armor as a Huskarl or an Incan Eagle. I think they cap out at 8 once they go up to Elite. Yeah, they cap out at an 8, which means that Plumed Archer basically does... Let's do the math. 7 minus 8 is -1. You can't have negatives, so 0 and then +2. But like I said, the problem for the Plumed is that the Ghulam is faster than the Huskar, although again, still at 1.2. I think with the 10% 1.3 to Grand Trunk Road, there's that gold income bonus. There's that commodity trading fee being reduced to 10%. So not quite Saracens, and the Saracens do get theirs automatically as a Civ feature. They don't actually have to pay for it, but Gold miners are going to work faster. Does he have any relics? He does not have a single relic. mYi has gotten all 5 relics. And we are setting up for a nice west, east, east, west, north, south, whatever you want to call it, confrontation here. As both players are building up their army counts. mYi is now down only 25 villagers. But when your archers are 30% off, do you really need the extra villagers? Although I say that, I don't see any more archers being trained out of him. Are the plumes even elite? Where even are the plumes? Oh, I've already got them highlighted. No. They only have Bodkin and they only have 1 armor. Daniel engaging in the center as he has a force with 2 petards moving to the left, right as mYi engages on the right. We'll keep an eye on all of these theaters of war as best we can, but here to the center, the plumes are retreating. They've abandoned the Trebs, they've abandoned the Eagles, and the Eagles, by the way, get slaughtered? I mean, there's a few red dead bodies here, but there's a lot more blue dead bodies than there are reds over there. Neither Gulam nor Eagle really that expensive. They both cost a decent amount of gold, though. Let's see how well mYi can hold here. His villagers, his gold miners, stone miners, whatever the hell they're mining off of this medium-sized karst are all getting killed here. Daniel is up to 21 villager kills. He's now almost double the total kill count. And this Mayan army is slowly but surely being taken to Pound Town as it gets, well, you know what? Reinforcements for the win. If you ever needed an actual visualization of the defender's advantage, here it is. Able to reinforce his army in a big way as mYi. Looks like the Gulam's busted in through 1 layer of defense, but mYi already has a second. Oh man, this is a lot of dead Eagle warriors, but looks like they've killed a decent amount of villagers. mYi's clawing a villager kill up, 21 to 28. But it is coming at a cost. His Eagles are falling. I believe the attack speed is also the same for Gulams and Eagles. Well, there's that Squire's upgrade, so now 1.32. So as I mentioned, against the Huskarls, it's a beautiful sight to behold. To see a counter archer unit dying to archers is always fun. But the Gulam is a completely different beast. Let's see the attack speed. Should be a 2 on both, right? The basic infantry 2-second delay attack speed. Tinkle, tinkle, tinkle go the Gulams as they try to take down a barracks. They do. Convocation of Eagles here, 34 of them. Gulams, 53. And remember, the Gulams do pass-through damage in a ridiculous 1 tile, I think. Yeah, blast with 1 tile. Looks like mYi is to the rear of the Hindustani base as well with his Eagles. Usually the blast radius is half a tile, but this is 1 full tile of blast radius that they do. So if the Eagles clump, it may not be good news for them. But little by little, these Gulams are destroying barracks after barracks after barracks, plus 4 attack bonus against buildings. And he knows he doesn't need all of his Gulams to attack mYi here. I would absolutely love it if the players could maybe shift the battle a little to the right. Do us all a favor. Stop fighting behind structures. We want to see the units fight. We want to see the blood and the gore and the battles. We want to see it all. This is a lot of freaking Gulams. 15 kills on them. Eagles are pivoting north. Not too sure this is the right moment for mYi to split his army. Mining area has been depopulated. Looks like the other second Eagle penetration to the right has been stopped. A quick set of wall offs. Is this one? Oh no, this one's open. Why isn't he going through the center there? What a missed opportunity for Daniel to go through that 1 missing tile. But he doesn't care about the Eagles at all. He is going full on barracks destruction mode. I'm going to destroy your ability to reinforce. But mYi's already built a few internal barracks. But is there even a way for these Eagles to leave the base? He's been so busy creating wall offs in the base. Eagles are chasing Gulams now. Their numbers are such that they can take this battle. But Daniel says, okay, hold my beer. I'm going to hold the line here. I'm going to reinforce with 15, 16 more Gulams. More Eagles. We're up to 42 Eagles, 85 Gulams. So 86. They are fully upgraded. They are elite. And they move just a tiny fraction, a 1/10 of a second slower than the Eagle Warrior. Eagles are going to take this battle by virtue of sheer numbers here. We've got another battle shaping up to the north, and Town Center is, oh my goodness, left with 86 HP. Wolf is joining the battle, not too sure for who, probably for the Mayan, right? It looks like it's attacking Gulams. Man, these battles are so close, but Daniel just has the numbers here. Town Center does fall, and now he finds himself inside the bottom right hind quarter of the Mayan base. The Mayan, by the way, still looks like he's attacking the resource patch to the right of the map, and Daniel with the Gulam play. Again, I wish we would have seen maybe a few more plumed archers out of our Mayan. I think they could have provided some decent support, especially since he had 2 castles, and especially since we're an Imperial and they're now 30% cheaper. I think they're really cheap. I think they're like 40 wood, 40 gold. 39, right? 39 wood and 39 gold. So not exactly the most expensive supporting unit. So it would have been cool to maybe soften up the Gulam with some archer fire and then absolutely pound into it with the Eagle. But what a chaotic game, as Mysterio's games sometimes tend to be. One last surviving Eagle here is not long for this world, but Daniel just absolutely, I love that he focused on destroying the barracks. Maybe that's why Mysterio didn't go plumed archers. He didn't have the wood for it because he was busy replacing every single barracks. I mean, that's a market, in case you're wondering why the caster said barracks and clicked on that structure. It's because I'm old and my fingers don't work too good. 8 barracks. I think this one is the OG he started with. So 7 new barracks, 1,000 wood that is not going into archer units has been spent on rebuilding infrastructure that our Hindustani has just absolutely destroyed. And Mysterio, even though he still got 105 villagers, at the end of the day, he actually killed a lot more villagers than his opponent. But remember, these are Hindustani villagers. They are in Imperial Age, so they are now 23% off, which is a very annoying number for casters. It used to be a nice flat 20. Who the hell knows what 23% of 50 food is? I'm sure it's very easy to calculate, but a little bit harder than 20%. So 66 villager kills to 37. Mysterio actually ends the game killing more villagers, which begs the question, did he need to GG? This is Karsts. He still has 1 full Karst, a half a Karst. This one's kind of running out. This one's kind of secure if he wants to put another maybe castle. He's got 525 stone. Did Mysterio need to GG? Did he just get sick and tired of dealing with freaking Gulams? Populations are 200 to 115. That's definitely an indicator. Scores are not that far apart, about 15% apart. So I'm not too sure. A questionable GG out of Mysterio, who goes full on Eagle towards the end, but 231 Gulams, plumes to skirms, archers to scouts, PKPM for Mysterio towards the end of the game, PKPM for Daniel about a few minutes before that. Let's take a look at the economies. Yeah, I mean, look at this. Economies are identical. Mysterio's got 20. Mysterio's got all 5 relics. Did he lose control of the relics? Is that possibly why he tapped out? No, they're still here. Daniel not going after them. So again, a questionable GG. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Mysterio needed to tap out here? He does have a little bit more wood than his opponent. Everything else, I mean, basically the same food. I mean, without the relic gold, the Daniel mined 5,000 more gold than his opponent and about a castle and a half's, maybe, yeah, about a castle and a half's worth of extra stone. 9 conversions for Mysterio out of 233 is a juicy 4% of the Hindustani army. 17 raisings to 1. I mean, that's just, maybe that's why, because he is slowly running out of, how much wood is left on the map? There's actually 57,000 wood still left. Again, a questionable GG. I'm trying to figure out, I know he was down villagers in a big way the entire game, but you killed 66 villagers of your opponent. Maybe if Mysterio knew what we know with the, I mean, look at his vision. Completely backed into a corner. Once this eagle dies, absolutely nothing here. Maybe he sees these middle of the map castles and realizes that there's not many more chunks of mountain for him to mine, although there to the north, plenty. By the way, this is a massive karst. This is a lot of gold and stone. 13,000 resources, including the forest, just in this one little clump of map. How crazy is this map? It is Arabia on steroids. So again, not 100% sure Mysterio really needed to GG here. Maybe again, he just got tired of losing army group after army group. Although to be fair, when you carve up your army, here, and then I think there were a bunch of them that went into the base. I see a couple of dead villager bodies strewn about. couple, 3 more over here. When you carve up your army like that, and there's a mini battle over here as well, then you're kind of begging for the overwhelming numbers to beat you, because at the end of the day, even if you have a counter unit, numbers are numbers in Age of Empires, and using those numbers, Daniel just goes full on Gulam build, and there you go. If you haven't seen the Gulam in action, you have now, especially against Eagles. Plumed archers are no longer. He has 8 army count, does Mr. Yo, to the 80 of his opponents. So again, the numbers indicate one thing, but do they really? Do they really? He still does have 8 barracks. He still does have access to a good amount of gold. He still has access to a lot of food, and he still has triple-digit villagers. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Mr. Yo just cannot, for one reason or another, take on all of these Gulams. He doesn't have the numbers, and because he doesn't have the numbers, he gets a good amount of rating. But rating against the Hindustanis, like I said, they pay a quarter less for their villagers, is a bit of a lackluster W. It's like a W with a small lowercase w. And ultimately, it's the Gulams who take the most badass of fights here, destroying. I love the move out of Daniel, just taking down barracks after barracks after barracks until only 8 are left. It really possibly may have been the reason Mr. Yo didn't add more plumes, because again, plumed archers right now, elite, would add a +2 attack bonus. 15 of them would soften up a Gulam to down 30 HP, to the point where an Eagle Warrior could pretty much take them on. Eagle Warrior, remember, for the Mayans, 100 HP compared to 70. Pierce melee armor is also better on an Eagle Warrior, 3-2, although the attack is 13-15. So it's a real toss-up as to who takes these battles at the end of the day, and I think Mr. Yo just realized, okay, now I'm being pushed back into my base. I have 0 map presence, 0 map vision. What vision I have shows me things I don't like to see, like 2 big castles, and because of that, he taps out, lives to fight another day, and it is Daniel with the 77 going up to 94 Gulams who takes the W, but GG to both players. Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips and make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you're notified of my latest uploads.